It's easy to think of thumbnail sketches as just rough drafts, but analyzing them can be incredibly valuable for your growth as an artist. Even at this early stage, your thumbnails can reveal important things about your composition, perspective, and storytelling. Take a little bit of time to step back and evaluate your sketches. This can help you spot areas for improvement, setting the stage for more refined or polished work down the line. When you take a moment to assess your thumbnails, you can catch mistakes early and make tweaks before diving into a final piece. This kind of self evaluation helps you understand your strengths and areas where you might need more practice. It's one of the best ways to improve because you're learning directly from your own work and figuring out what's working and what isn't. By analyzing your thumbnails, you're setting yourself up to make better creative decisions, ultimately strengthening your overall skills as an artist. When I look at my own thumbnails, one of the first things I check is the composition. Even in a quick sketch, the way elements are arranged can make or break the impact of the final piece. Here's what I usually focus on. I ask myself, does the composition feel balanced, or is one side too heavy? Sometimes, without realizing it, we crowd one side of the sketch, leaving the other side looking empty. I try to make sure there's a good balance so nothing feels lopsided. When I look at how the viewer's eye moves across the sketch, then I look at how the viewer's eye moves across the sketch. Does it flow naturally, or does it get stuck in one spot? A good composition guides the eye through the piece. And I found that adding lines or shapes that lead the viewer's attention can really help with that. I also check where the focus of the thumbnails are. I ask myself, where's my eye drawn to first? If it's not where I want the viewer to focus, then I know I need to make some changes. Moving the key elements around or tweaking their size can make a big difference in how the sketch reads. These quick checks help me make sure the composition is strong before I spend too much time on the details. It's a simple process, but it goes a long way in improving the overall look of the piece. After checking the composition, I move on to perspective. Even in thumbnails, getting the perspective right is important because it can make a sketch feel more dynamic and believable. I start by asking myself if the sketch feels flat or if it has a sense of depth. Thumbnails don't need to have perfect perspective, but they should give the impression that there's space within the scene. Are the foreground, middle ground, and background clearly defined? If everything feels like it's on the same plane, it might be time to push things further back or bring them closer to the viewer. One of the most common mistakes I make, and that I see in other sketches, is inconsistent vanishing points or maybe some awkward angles. If the perspective doesn't line up, even a simple sketch can feel off. To fix this, I look at where the horizon line is and make sure everything follows a consistent vanishing point. If something feels weird, it usually means I need to tweak those angles or shift the objects around to create stronger senses of space. Even in quick thumbnails, getting these small details right can dramatically improve the overall feel of the sketch. By spending a little time adjusting perspective, I can make sure the final piece will feel more grounded and believable when I take it to the next stage. And once I've gone over the composition and perspective, I turn my attention to the storytelling aspect of the thumbnail. Even in these small, rough sketches, there's usually a story or message or action I'm trying to convey. Evaluating that can help refine the bigger picture later on. I ask myself, what is this sketch trying to say? Every drawing has some kind of narrative, whether it's a character's emotion, a mood, or even a simple action. Sometimes in thumbnails, the story might not come through clearly enough. So I check if it's obvious what's happening or if certain elements are missing. If I can't immediately tell what the sketch is about, I'll consider adding or adjusting details to strengthen the narrative. And if the story isn't clear, I look for ways to simplify or enhance it. This might mean cutting out unnecessary elements or adding something that helps tie the story together. I also think about whether each part of the sketch is contributing to the message. If something feels like it's cluttering the scene or distracting from the main focus, I'll either move it or remove it entirely. Sometimes small changes in positioning or expression can make a huge difference. It's all about making sure everything in the thumbnail serves the story. By analyzing my thumbnails this way, I can fine tune the storytelling so that when I move on to working on a final drawing of it, it'll already have a strong narrative in place. After I've gone through individual thumbnails, I like to compare them side by side to see what's working and where I can improve. This is especially helpful when I've sketched out a few different ideas for the same project or scene. Laying out multiple thumbnails next to each other allows me to spot patterns. Sometimes I notice that certain compositions or perspectives keep showing up, which might mean I'm in a creative rut, repeating the same ideas. On the flip side, I might find that one sketch really stands out as more dynamic or engaging. By comparing them, I can figure out which elements are worth keeping and which ones need to be reworked. This is also a good time to check for reoccurring problems. Maybe I keep making the same mistake with perspective or leaving out important storytelling details. Seeing those trends helps me know what to focus on improving in future sketches. Once I've identified what works and what doesn't, I make adjustments in my next round of sketches. If one thumbnail feels particularly strong, I'll use it as a starting point, adding or tweaking elements to push it even further. If another has a great perspective but weak composition, I'll try merging the best parts of each. This comparison process helps me refine my ideas and make more informed decisions as I move forward. Over time, this practice has helped me improve both my technical skills and my ability to convey a strong story through my sketches. It's like a feedback loop where each round of thumbnails builds on the last, making my final piece that much better. Analyzing your thumbnail sketches is a powerful tool for improvement, and it's something I try to do regularly. By breaking down your composition, perspective, and storytelling, you can spot areas that need refining before you invest a lot of time in a final piece. Comparing your thumbnails side by side let you see patterns in your work, helping you figure out what's working and what might need a fresh approach. Self-evaluation is crucial for artistic growth. It helps you become more aware of your habits and gives you the opportunity to consciously improve. Over time, this process becomes second nature, and you'll find that your thumbnails naturally get stronger, making your finished work even better. So next time you're working on a project, take a few minutes to step back and analyze your thumbnails. It's a small step that can lead to a lot of big improvements. I hope you like this video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks.